Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. Well, the Parkles made it to New York. They collected their Humanitarians of the Year award at Project Healthy Minds, something like that. Nobody really could be bothered to pay them any attention because, of course, Prince William and the King had been on a joint outing together, very unusual, but there they were together. Prince William, of course, also in that very moving interview with a woman whose husband very unfortunately passed away. And I'm not, the unaliving story, very moving. Prince William really has shown a very sensitive and vulnerable side recently in interviews, and of course the Gaza thing, the Nobel Peace Prize. So Harry and Meghan buried under all of that. Nothing really to report apart from relationship dynamics. We're going to look at that in the next reading. But one rather strange thing happened yesterday in New York, and that is that, lo and behold, Markus Anderson was there again, spotted sitting with Harry and Meghan at their table at this event, Table 9, which is a rather lowly table for the recipients of the Humanitarians of the Year Awards. But what on earth is the deal with Markus Anderson? He, of course, was there with Meghan in Paris. He was with the Parkles and their kids when they celebrated Lily's birthday at Disneyland. We've seen him hiking with Meghan when the coronation was going on in the UK. He popped up in the front row with Harry at that South by Southwest thing when she told the dish-shaped story for the 4 millionth time until Brooke Shields interrupted her. He was there in New York a few years ago, that night of the near catastrophic car chase. And interestingly, he was there photographed with Harry and Meghan and Jill Smoller. And Jill Smoller is the agent from WME that seems to represent Meghan, who was also in Paris. So there is some obvious connection with Markus and Jill Smoller and WME and Soho House and business deals. But if you're the business person, you don't necessarily go on the Disney excursion, although that was a business trip too. We did discover eventually that it was comped. They were in that promo for Disney. Harry and Meghan were in that. But what's the deal? There's all kinds of speculation that maybe it's a throuple, or that maybe Markus has got the dirt on Harry or Meghan, Harry and Meghan. There's some of that. He's rumoured at some stage to actually been living with them at Mudslide Mansion. Very strange. There's some speculation that he is Meghan's handler and has always been her handler. There is also speculation that he's the one that reminds Harry where his loyalties lie when Harry is deciding it's time for him to leave and go back to Pa and Blighty. Markus, of course, was there in Toronto that infamous evening at the Invictus Games all those years ago with Doria, and I think Jessica Mulrooney was there as well, in a very earnest conversation with Harry, who looked rather startled and trapped. And a lot of people think that the whole thing went down that night of you have to sign here and the ring needs to go there and all of that. So an interesting character, to say the least. I have the Venetian tarot on the tarot table for this reading. It's the Machiavellian tarot for me. And I think we're dealing with someone who is that kind of character, a fixer, a handler, a connector, an arranger. Some say maybe a dealer. We're speculating, of course. Let's remind you, this is just tarot and it's for fun and entertainment. It is all wild speculation. It is all my personal opinion. I just read energy. I'm reading the energy of this rather interesting character and his relationship with Harry and Meghan. And there is a disclaimer in the box below. Yeah, the useful thing about the Venetian Tarot is that it's a mini tarot, tiny cards. This is quite a long reading that I am planning to get through now, and so I need tiny cards to fit on the tarot table in the screen. There is also speculation we're not going to be looking at now that Markus is quite intimately involved in the rather curious arrival of Archie and Lily in this world. Mysterious arrival, better word. I have read on that in the past and got some mysterious energy around that, let's just say. We're not looking at that today, unless by some strange quirk of fate it shows up. What I'm calling Project Unhealthy Minder, my lame pun for the day, and there's got to be one, of course. I think we've got the energy in the cards. Let's go. Talked a lot, got lots to read on. I'll talk you through the spread, obviously, and let's see what's going on. The omnipresent Markus Anderson right now. He is omnipresent. Tiny cards look rather strange, but anyway, as I say, it's useful to be able to fit in more rows than normal in the spread today. Oops, there we go. Underlying energy, strength in reverse. That's interesting because that's my Harry and Meghan as a brand card very much, and it's Meghan as well, and Meghan's in a spot of trouble right now. We know that. We know that 2025 has not been her year. I don't need to list the reasons why. It's been a disastrous year for her. And there's a big scramble on at the moment to shore her up and to get her back in her groove. Hence the Balenciaga thing. Hence this humanitarian award seems to be a last-ditch scramble to get the silly thing. And she's also managed to, well, she didn't, but her people have managed to get her into the Fortune Women of Power, or whatever it's called, thing in the next few days in New York as well. So as I say, there's a big scramble on to try and fix things, and of course there's big money riding on this. I would say for WME, Jill Smoller, she's not doing this for free. She's not doing this for love, and I'm sure that Markus is not doing this for free or for love either. So there is the disastrous brand Sussex, and particularly Meghan's energy there. Strength card in reverse. They're floundering, they're failing. The brand is failing, the relationship is failing, Meghan is failing. Needs propping up, needs a boost. Get out that black book, the little book of contacts that I'm sure Markus has, and start the repair work. And there it goes. That's the strength card in reverse for me. It's also, strength is about courage, and it's a loyal, open-hearted kind of an energy. In reverse, it's a little bit off for me energetically, that there might be some codependence energy in this situation as well. And that, just because I'm saying it last and in one sentence doesn't mean it's insignificant energy. I think it's quite powerful energy in this scenario. I think that almost, I'm getting a little one card reading, that Harry and Meghan both rely on him more than is healthy. And they possibly do because of their own personal weaknesses, foibles, addictions, whatever. And the procurer, the handler, the dealer, the whatever, I think he might run that kind of, play that kind of role for both of them. Interesting. Let's get to it. Heart of this reading we're dealing with. This is the King of Wands. And well, that's interesting. That's Markus energy, I would say. That's coming through in that card. King of Wands, very connected in the entertainment industry, Markus, of course through Soho House, very tapped in, leadership role, a popular kind of person, someone who is quite charismatic, who I think can move quite well through different kinds of social environments, better than Harry and Meghan can. And one of the reasons why people zoned in on that moment when Meghan laughed at the Balenciaga show, and Markus didn't laugh back, and then she sort of, ooh, you know, you could tell she had been kind of told off, silently told off, is that I think he knows his way around. He's a smooth operator, that King of Wands, knows his way around socially better than she does, and better than Harry's never had to figure it out, because of course he's a prince, but he doesn't know his way around things either, in my opinion. Let's get to the actual reading. His personal dynamic with each of them. We're reading on Meghan first in the spread. His personal relationship dynamic with Meghan. What's the deal there? And we got the Nine of Pentacles. That's interesting. That's the single woman card. Independent. It's not romantic. It's not that. Although I personally think that she might feel differently. We're really from his point of view here, what he thinks, how the relationship plays out. He's her guide for her in her single life, in her attempt to monetize herself and to become a billionaire. I think it's pretty obvious with that Nine of Pentacles, because the Nine of Pentacles is living the life, you know, the good life. You're surrounded by things of high value, high net worth, self-made woman, independent woman. Markus feeds into that. Markus is steering her in that direction. It's a bit of a lost cause at this point, but you never know. You know, he might strike gold at some point. I think he has thought along the way that he has, but he's used up all of those opportunities. But that's what that Nine of Pentacles is telling me. It's pretty straightforward. What about his personal relationship dynamic with Harry? This is a more sinister card, the Death card. It's change and endings. He has been an agent of change in Harry's life for the worse. Endings in Harry's life. And of course he's, through Meghan, separated Harry from all that he knew and maybe valued or didn't value enough, until he lost it, the royal family, the good opinion of the British public, all the rest, and the world. Never mind just the British public. A real change agent. Someone who's taken Harry down into the underworld. That's what Death does. It's a card of radical endings, loss, transformation. You don't emerge from that energy unchanged. The Death card. So he's a change agent for Harry, and quite a sinister one. Again, I'm not getting cups, I'm not getting emotions, I'm not getting that kind of closeness or intimacy, but I'm getting a very powerful energy of quite a destructive force in Harry's life, whether intentionally or not, I don't know. I asked the cards. This is what the cards are telling me. So this is what I'm telling you. We're going to ask about the thruple rumor. So we're talking about intimacy here, picking my words for YouTube. Let's ask about Meghan and Markus. He is openly gay, but stranger things have happened. So Meghan and Markus on that particular front. I've got the Justice card. That's not that kind of a card at all. It's more fighting her corner for her as a woman. And I think he feeds into that narrative again, that kind of woke vibe. You know, she's always going on about women's rights and stuff like that. And I'm sounding dismissive as a woman who was of the generation that really it was a big deal for. Talking of myself now, not Meghan. But I think that that's what he's about. A strange energy, because justice is about divorce. It's about court proceedings, and of course Meghan is not shy about legal proceedings and lawyers' letters and stuff like that, and fighting for her rights and fighting for women's rights and all that. Well, she's talking about fighting for it rather than actually fighting for them, in my opinion. But there's a bit of a divorce energy there. Perhaps Markus was instrumental in her divorcing Trevor. Just a thought. Just a thought. A random thought. that's popped up. How about Harry? Some people speculate that Markus might be providing certain services for Harry, allegedly. Let's put it like that. Let's ask, we've got the Sun in reverse. Sun in reverse becomes quite shady and hidden. But what's really coming through for me with the Sun is optimism and play and happiness and all that stuff. It's in reverse. I think if there is anything of that kind going on there, it's more that he's aware of a dark side of Harry's nature. And it doesn't have to be dark in that intimate way, although it's in the energy. It's more coming through for me as the darkness in Harry, depression, ups and downs, highs and lows. And so I'm asking that question about intimacy in this part of the reading, and I'm not getting it necessarily with either of them. I'm getting more of a confident energy. And for Megan, you're a woman, you're an independent woman, you must fight, and this is, you know, this is your cause in life. And you can't be tied up in a relationship that isn't feeding you and all this kind of stuff. And then for Harry, I'm getting someone who supports Harry when he's really down. And I do think Markus is quite an empath. I think that's how he's got to where he's got to, is he's a good listener and possibly a good user of information that he has heard. That's just my opinion, and that leads us rather smoothly into the next little question here, is what dirt he might have on Harry and Meghan. Meghan first. What does he know about Meghan? That could be very useful. Ooh, that's a Knight of Pentacles. That's a Harry card. He knows stuff about how she got together with Harry. He might know stuff about what she really feels about Harry. As I say, how she got Harry, how she caught Harry and kept Harry. That's Knight of Pentacles. That's very much Harry's energy. So I think that's self-explanatory. It's not the more salacious stuff that we might have hoped for there, but it's bad enough. It's bad enough if he knows the playbook, if he knows the step-by-step things that were done to ensnare a prince. In my opinion, that's a strong word, but that's the energy that I got off that tableau in Toronto that night at the Invictus Games. My opinion, of course. How about dirt that he might have on Harry? A lot of speculation about that. Because the Three of Pentacles, again, not salacious, not nearly salacious enough. For some reason, the Venetian Tarot is not going in that direction today. Three of Pentacles is a collaboration. And it's a collaboration about a writing project. And the obvious one is spare, the ones finding freebies, spare, that other thing, end game. So I would say that he knows about that, the level of Harry's input into those things that are supposed to be at arm's length, at a distance. Not so much with that Three of Pentacles for me as an energy reader. Also, maybe the court cases. He might know quite a lot about that because they're groups of claimants, particularly this last case against the Daily Mail. It's a whole swathe of celebrities that are involved in that court case, and of course possibly problems with how evidence was gathered for the claimants. That kind of vibe coming through. It's interesting just looking at the cards that have shown up in this reading. There's no cups. There are plenty of pentacles. It's money. It's business. It's business more than closeness, personal kind of feelings that's showing up here. There is the confidant aspect here, big card, so it's a big deal with the Justice card and the Sun in reverse. But a lot to do with money. So, and I think a two-way street here, money for Markus, money for Harry and Meghan. Or Meghan, not Harry. Just a feeling. Let's look at his role as Meghan's handler, fixer, handler for a long time. And by handler, I don't necessarily mean conspiracy theory kind of handler for secret state agents or, you know, world secretive organizations and that sort of thing. I mean more in keeping her in line. You know, she does tend not to listen to good advice. We have heard over and over again about her, allegedly. So is he the guy who keeps her on track? And so that's why he shows up at these things, make sure that she's not over medicated, allegedly, that she behaves herself. That kind of vibe is more what I'm asking here. And we've got the Chariot. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. This is the driving forward card. Keeping on track would be the Chariot. Keeping her in her lane, making sure that she reaches her goal, that she does what she needs to do. And yes, the broader conspiratorial kind of aspect of that energy could come through in that Chariot card. So you don't have to take off your tinfoil hats, you can keep them on. It works both ways for me, that Chariot card. At the smaller level of making sure she shows up, she's reasonably coherent, she does what she's told to do, and home she goes. And also at the larger level of not to catch a thief, but to, as I say, to ensnare was the word I used. It's a useful word, I'll keep using it, in my opinion, allegedly, all that stuff. To ensnare a prince and to keep hold of him once she got him. How about Harry? Not the handler energy so much as the speculation that Markus is around to keep Harry there and make sure that Harry doesn't suddenly remember that he's happier in the UK and it would be just one phone call and they would come to fetch him and take him home. Is he playing that role of keeping Harry where he got caught? And I've got the Five of Pentacles. Yes. And I think of all the cards on the table for me now, that is the most telling. And it's also the most poignant. It's actually a sad energy. It's the card of isolation, exile, banishment, the Five of Pentacles, poverty, being left out, blind leading the blind here in that Five of Pentacles. I would say, in my opinion, that Markus is instrumental in keeping Harry alienated from his blood family, from the people who really had his best interests at heart. That's my opinion. Just my opinion. If Harry and Meghan are to divorce, where does Markus go? Who gets Markus? I've got the Six of Swords, and that's very interesting. It's the overseas card, and that, I know it's Venice, but it could be London. That's not Montecito. Do you think Markus decides that he's better off following the has-been to London? That's what the card's telling me. Interesting. And final question is a money question, which is appropriate given the number of pentacles we have on this tarot table and the card of unbridled ambition, the Chariot, as well. How much money is this whole situation worth for Markus? I would like to know. And of course, just speculating here with tarot. We have the Eight of Wands and it's in reverse. Blocked. Progress blocked. And if you could see me, you would see that I'm smiling. I'm often smiling when I do these readings, but this time I'm smiling like a Cheshire cat. Because the Eight of Wands is progress, when it's upright. It is mostly a communication card, but it can also mean unblocking things and making them accelerate and flow smoothly and increase. It's in reverse. So whatever he thought he was going to get out of this scenario, he thought wrong. He's blocked from whatever he was expecting. I'm getting a hose, like a fire hose, and the water gushing out when the card is upright. But for some reason, a bit like those terrible fires in California at the start of this year, the taps are closed, there's no water. And it's interesting, it's sitting under that Six of Swords energy, that's why he might figure at some stage that his loyalty lies with the has-been. If the has-been ever sets off back to the UK, Markus might be packing his suitcases as well. That is your rather strange reading, and I have to remind you, it is just a tarot reading for entertainment purposes, and it is all just my opinion and my speculation. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.